We don't know because we don't have an image of the object itself. One thing
Do you
we
think
see...
they would be able to get it if they had this Mars footage? They would get an image of what that would indicate
depends
the
how
actual
big the
shape?
object is. One way to get the object structure is as it spins around. And 3i Atlas does have a rotation period of 16 hours. And as it spins around, if it's like a cigar shaped, let's say, then the area that reflects the sunlight changes over time, so you see variability. And we haven't seen that much. There is very little variability, so it's not the object is not very different than a sphere, with slight variations as you see the rotation of the object.
So it's similarly shaped to something that you'd expect to be from an intelligent life force.
I don't know that. I want to figure out what it is and get as much data as possible on it.
Right, but if you imagine a spaceship, you would imagine something that, has some sort of like geometric structure to it, right?
Well, Rendezvous with Rama, is a book that was written by Arthur C. Clarke. And in it, there is a cylindrical object that arrives into the inner solar system with dimensions of order tens of kilometers, not very far from what we are talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur C. Clarke was an amazing visionary science fiction writer, and 2001 A Space Odyssey is an amazing film that he made with Stanley Kubrick.
Yep.
In it, you see these monoliths. And by the way, there is a question of how to interpret them. The way I think about the monolith, and by the way, this is just a remark on art. It's not about the real universe, but I think of it as, sensors put in the baby room, in the room of a baby. And we, as a civilization, is like a baby. We're just a few million years old. And actually, in the film, it shows the progression of human history. And so as a baby, these aliens were putting monitors in the room to see what we are up to. And, that's something that makes sense. There is this dark forest hypothesis, one solution to Enrico. So Enrico Fermi, back in 1950, had lunch together with Edward Teller and other people associated with the Manhattan Project. And he was a very good physicist, both an experimentalist and a theorist. And Enrico Fermi was talking with them about extraterrestrials, and they all agreed that it's likely that they exist. Okay, as good physicists, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And then Enrico said, but where is everybody? In an Italian accent. Where is everybody? And if I were next to him, I would come to him and say, Enrico, I would put my hand around his shoulder. I would say, Enrico, this is a question that every lonely person asks. And what you tell a lonely person is, don't be so presumptuous. You are not that attractive. They will not come to you and have breakfast with you or lunch with you in Los Alamos when you want them to appear. You need to seek them. That's what you tell lonely people. You need to go to dating sites. You need to look through the window of your home and search for them. And he didn't build a telescope. An experimentalist asking this question should have built a telescope and searched for unidentified objects in the sky. That's the way to figure out the answer. Where is everybody? It's the most romantic question in science. But, and we have those blind dates. Maybe it's just with rocks. Maybe not. And we should just be open-minded when we address those blind dates.
I think we could end it with that. It's a very perfect way of phrasing this whole thing. I'm fascinated by it all, and I'm really happy there's someone like you that's looking into this with such curiosity and that you're undeterred by all these haters.
Well, thank you. And I should just mention that, there are all kinds of technologies that I can imagine that we don't even have. And for example, if a civilization has an ability to create a negative mass that produces repulsive gravity, then you can propel a spacecraft without any fuel. In fact, I'm working on a paper now with a group of collaborators, applied physics, on this. And you could also potentially imagine time machines with negative masses. So there are lots of things we don't know. let's be modest. The future, yeah.
Unlimited possibilities, especially if we developed artificial general superintelligence, and it helps us. And it starts devising new methods of propulsion, new methods of, who knows, seeding the universe with other life.
Yeah, and just like in our private life, finding a partner can change your future to the better.
Finding an alien partner.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Avi.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.